Valdemar, I'm here. I'm with you.
Help me.
What can I do?
The role came up when George called me and said, look, I'm doing this movie. I want you to be in it. He sent me the script. I read the script. I said, love to do it. I came in and read with him. And I went home and he said, you've got the role.
The others are coming.
You know, I would say the movie's longevity has to be attributed to George. I was just lucky enough and proud enough to be one of those people that it was part of his legacy.
It's over. It's finished.
Originally, I wanted to be an architect, which is nowhere near this. But wonderful thing about college is you take different classes. And in college, I took some advertising classes, marketing classes. And so from there, I decided to do commercials, make my own commercials. So I started making my own commercials. And from there, I realized, boy, I really liked film. I always liked film. And I went to film school as a director and a writer. And as I was there, I would have some of our projects, we would have to act out some scenes from other students. And so they were always asking me to act out scenes of their projects. And some guys in the theater department kind of took notice of me and then asked me to start acting in their stuff. So people started asking me to act. And then next thing led to another. I ended up working, somebody saw me, a casting director saw me, and they cast me into something, and they got an agent and just started kind of working into it. And I really started to enjoy the craft of acting. And that was fascinating to me, the whole craft of it.
Are you comfortable?
Yes.
Do you have any more pain?
No pain.
Before Two Evil Eyes, I was aware of George Romero. Most people in the film industry were. I didn't really have any preconceived notions of him. I met him through some people in the industry, and then I was lucky enough to audition for him, and he took a liking to me. And I had really only done theater. I was mostly doing theater at the time. But he would keep having me in to audition for his movies. And the greatest guy in the world. And eventually, I got the role in Two Evil Eyes, and we were friends afterwards, after that.
Nicotine substitute.
George was about, from my experience, George was really about working with everyone. Everyone was part of the movie-making experience. He had confidence in you when he hired you. He gave you lots of freedom within a certain frame. You could do anything you wanted to do within that frame. And I always loved his social commentary, how he saw the characters in the society that we live in, how they represent different aspects. He was obviously ahead of his time. He, Night of the Living Dead, he cast, one of the very first, African-American actors in a lead role. What was really the Dead really about? Fascinating individual.
Done.
Is he?
Still under.
Come here.
The most challenging aspect of playing Hoffman for me, I think, was developing a realistic relationship with Adrienne Barbeau's character and making that believable for the two of us. That was probably the most challenging.
In a few weeks, we'll have it all. Just think of it. $1 million. $1 million for us to share.
We wanted to make sure that it was a believable relationship in what we were doing together. Adrienne was a wonderful actress to work with. She was a great person to work with. She was very giving as an actress, as an actor. We used to rehearse separate from George and separate from the set. And she was always very open to trying new things and new ways of looking at things. So she was a dream to work with in that way.
It's too late. The others.
Bingo O'Malley was a professional. He was a consummate professional. And he was a gentleman at the same time. And I really enjoyed working with him. I mean, he was up to any task, any kind of makeup that was put on him, all of that. He was fantastic.
They're with you now. They're with you.
Shooting in Pittsburgh was fantastic. It was a beautiful city. It was a great city. It was an interesting city at that time. I mean, and I was able to get around and see parts of the city that, you know, I wasn't really familiar with to begin with, even by reading about it. But George used to turn me on to, we'd just go out to dinner and go have za pizza, and we'd have do different things. And George's filmmaking family in Pittsburgh was so loyal to him. They'd move heaven and earth for him. And he loved those people, and they loved him back equally. And it was a pleasure to get out of Los Angeles and to film in a community like that. I remember some of the locations we filmed in were dark. Even though it was the summertime, it was cold, and it was dirty. But it was out in the country, so that part was always kind of magical, especially in the night shots. The sounds of Pittsburgh in the country at night in the summertime with I think it was cicadas, it was really, I was in a different place. It was great.
So how long were you in makeup yesterday?
4 hours, at least. Four
Maybe
and a half,
five,
5 hours.
Tom Savini, he was a wild man. He was a great guy. He was very intense, and working with his team was fantastic. Everybody was very professional. They wanted to make sure they were taking care of you, but they were really into what they did, and they really, really loved their job and creating those special effects, creating the makeup, creating all of that. We had a blast doing it.
Can you do me a favor? Can you reach under there and pull my pant legs down? Otherwise...
Good move, Ramy. Nice line.
So in the scene in which I was impaled, it wasn't dangerous at all. But it scared the hell out of me. Because even though it was on wires and they were controlling it, and it wasn't anywhere near my chest, it was close enough to my face that it really was bothersome. And it was completely safe. But there were many takes that you had to do. and just feeling like, hey man, they're killing me again and again and again was strange. But they made it memorable for me. The most difficult part of it was getting the blood pack to shoot the blood out correctly for George. He wanted to make sure that when it hit, that the blood came out in a certain way, and my reaction was in a certain way. So those two were the most important parts of it with him, but I felt totally safe, and I hadn't been killed like that before.
Yeah. Looks pretty good.
For the scene in which I was decomposing, it was a long process in makeup, and to get the right look was what was difficult about it, because they'd make me up, send me out. George would go, no, I need a little more of this. You have to go back. You have to come back. So it was very time consuming. It was really a lot of goop. It was uncomfortable in a sense, but it was like play. It was like being a kid and playing. Watching yourself die on screen is interesting. You know, I've died a few times, many times afterwards, but not as violently. So, yeah, it's kind of fun.
There's no one to wake me.
I saw the movie when it was finished. I think we had a screening. I was proud of what we did, you know, what we put together. I was proud to be in a George Romero movie. I was, you know, proud of what I did. I did my best. Hopefully it came across well. And in terms of comparison, how do I compare that to Argento's film? I don't know if I can compare it. They're both two legends in the genre of horror, and both had really great casts. So, and both doing Edgar Allan Poe stories. I don't know if I can compare them, but they were comparable in a certain way. Two Evil Eyes in the place in my career is, I think, a springboard for me, in the sense that I was able to work with some terrific people, not only George Romero, Adrienne Barbeau, E.G. Marshall, really fantastic people, and it was instrumental in people in the industry giving me some credence, because I was able to work with George at a very young point at the beginning of my career. And it's always been a badge of honor for me to say that I've been in a George Romero movie.